Screw it.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
And I really want it back. I don't want to feel like I might be a sociopath. I deleted my heart. I was young and impulsive, and I would download another, but I'm afraid it wouldn't fit. I deleted my heart. 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 I deleted my heart.
All right. Will they ever set the Juggernaut free? Hey there. How's it going, by the way? I hope you are having a great one, man. This is such a good thing to cover that I wanted to do a little more details-oriented stuff with this, because this story, I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, imagine companies gunning for your life, your livelihood, your career for 6 long years, only to watch them, the things that are considered too big to fail, go belly up and get washed beneath the tide. Oh, it's good stuff. What's up, Kate Raven Graham, by the way? Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate that. Man, what's up, Liz and AJ? How's it going, both of you? Man, Liz, thank you for those 5 gifted memberships, by the way. I love watching them drop in there. And AJ Stone, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. By the way, did you all catch the a little talking about something right off the bat before we get into this? Did you all catch the live stream with Colonel Kurtz? She did that 24-hour live stream. She had quite a few people on there. Now, I did not catch 24 hours of live stream, mind you. Well, that's a lot of live stream. I mean, I've done one, I think, and that was way too much for me. So props for her for that. I got on there a bit late. Like it was early in the day. It went on after, I think it was Minnie Manson, maybe. And right after that, It was good. I've never actually sat down and talked to Colonel Kurtz before, and I want to have her and Manson Cases, both of them. I want them both on same time so we could go through, talk, discuss everything in there, and promote them both because they have done a lot, and I do mean a lot of work. But I thought it was pretty good. So anyway, I want to point out a wonderful thing that is transpiring here. This is a beautiful subject, by the way, and I'm going to get a little more in depth. Like I said, I did a video, but I'm adding more to it. See, over the last few weeks, we have seen something happen that's just, I mean, it's amazing to watch. You have Depp's lawyer and more. I mean, I always figure with Adam Waldman is the guy who came up with the Johnny Depp trial. He's the one who put it together. In fact, I mean, let's be real. Like, he put together much more than we saw. We saw a very abbreviated version of everything that he managed to prove Depp's innocence in such an overwhelming, convincing manner. And the ugliness in there was that he didn't get to be part of the courtroom craziness, despite the fact that he was named. And it was such a messed up counterclaim, by the way. You know, they weren't allowed to present all of the material surrounding the counterclaim. You know, in the counterclaim, the jury didn't get to see all of the material associated. They didn't get to see the article in question, or how Heard's lawyer was basically, you know, making statements that, if you wanted to go by the idea that they were spokespeople for their clientele, and that you were liable for them. Yeah, Heard would have had some real problems too. The reality was that Waldman called out this hoax, and it was indeed a hoax. He called it out since the beginning. He built a very tight case proving it all, and he had a lot of people try to destroy his life. Not just people, mainly like these networks that have been around forever. They were considered much too big to fail. And yeah, he's been dancing on their graves lately because they've been dying, falling down. What's up, Camelot? Thanks for the 10 there. Too long since last tug and pull. Man, next 2 weeks, I've got my wife's birthday's this week, Mother's Day, and then my birthday is Monday. So after that, we have to get together for real. Camelot, dude, let me just throw this out there for real. When I was having health stuff like Cammy, he'd be like, "Oh man, what's going on? You doing good?" He'd send love and smooches. Oh, what a lovely man. I mean, he would have sent me roses and chocolates. I'm sure he would have been like, "You want a little chocolate, Tug?" He'd have probably came by and rubbed my back. Seriously, good people. Camelot is. I got to get on that show, man. He asked me, you know, and he's actually asked, you know, if we could coordinate before, and health didn't allow it. Man, that's one show I want to go on and goof off. I want to goof off with Camelot. Fallen Hero, thanks for the 5 months, by the way. I've been a member of this channel for 5 months. I know, it's awesome. Thank you for being here, by the way. Team Brittany, yes, indeed. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for that, Team Brittany. Appreciate that. 20 gifted memberships. Man, that's crazy. It's good stuff. So Vice Media. Now, Vice Media is a fascinating thing, because Vice Media, I want to remind you of a few things. So Vice Media, back in 2017, I'm loading something. Give me 1 second. Man, Variety sucks. Dude, I have a Variety article pulled up, and I mean, Variety, I think, hates me. You know, they're connected to some pretty awful networks that I've been making fun of, but it's funny that they just failed. There we go. All right, so here we go. Sorry about that. So Vice Media, they let's just say they've had quite the epic fall. Vice was once evaluated at, drink this in, I mean, I want to stress this. I stress it in videos. I want to stress this heavily. They were evaluated in 2017. So, I mean, we're talking really 5 years and change is really what it probably amounts to. They were evaluated or valued at 5.7 billion with a B dollars. I mean, can you imagine that? Vice was everywhere. They were the brand, the unstoppable brand. And they chose what they did with that brand is they chose, instead of doing what people liked with their brand, which Vice, man, they had some, I hate what Vice became, but I will be the first to admit that when they were doing coverage of like overseas struggles or this, that, they did some good articles in the beginning or good videos, good exposés. They did exposés on some of the insanity with foreign wars, landmines. They talked about refugee issues. I mean, and the lies that foreign government would tell. They didn't play the part of the puppet at first, but then they wanted to become something more. What's up, USSJ for Broly, by the way? Thank you for the gifted membership. Good to see you, my friend. Mark, what's up, Mark? Thanks for the live. Hey, Tug, can you say hello to you missed her last 2 super chats, and one was funny. Did I miss one here? Did I miss one here? Hi, by the way. I didn't mean to miss your super chats. If I miss super chats, I'm just getting back in the flow of this mess. So I do appreciate you all coming in. In fact, like live streams, I'm trying to kick them back up. They, being away so long, YouTube punishes you for it. So, it was once like 1,500 people. We'll be around 5, and it doesn't really matter there. But it's like, man, you can't get sick or anything with this place. So I appreciate you all showing up. Subi Sue, thanks for the 10 months too. Thanks for everything. And happy birthday to you. Oh, mine was Friday. Well, happy belated birthday, by the way. And one more. Victoria Davenport, thank you for the 7 months. Happy birthday. Love you. Yeah, we'll do like a birthday stream or something on next Monday. I think I'll take off from work. I always tell family, like, I hate birthday parties. I like to stream and goof off on them. It's kind of funny there. We celebrate it before there. What's up, Blast Radius? This is a good one. Thanks for 5. Vice used to be a nice libertarian magazine till they sucked it up by press. It became BuzzFeed 2.0. Well, BuzzFeed will work into this mess too, just to say. In 2012, things do, y'all. We need an APB, I'm sorry, for missing pickle, y'all. Indeed. So this is what Vice Media, though, they started to become. I want you to really drink in not just the articles. There's 4 pages of articles. It's funny. These places are really funny. These are the same places that whine and moan because I make as many videos. That's one of the reasons I continue enjoying making videos on this subject. I'm telling you, like, one day I will have to move on. One day. But you know what? Every time I make videos, these salty mo's, they can't stand it. And if you look at the articles that they were doing with Amber Heard, I mean, it's crazy. They did. So let's go back to the front page, newer. So you could tell they were falling apart for a while, having problems. They've been struggling since last year. But you look at the progression of what they did. They not only went out and shield Heard, but they shield this accusation culture. They thought they were big enough to sculpt the societal narrative and to force all of us to play along. You can see that. They were like, you have to back any accusation that comes along. If you don't, if you ask anything or you think anything's not credible, you have a problem. And you'll notice they put together Heard. They always put her right in the middle. I personally have some real problems with at least 2 of those stories up there. Really a third. We'll see. We'll see how it plays. I mean, there's so much. 10 years of nasty, contentious divorce. I've actually heard some interesting stuff on that from some good sources, by the way. Well, one day we'll sit down and talk about the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie thing. I mean, more in depth one day. But I was talking to some people about that because I wanted to get their feel for it. And I got some fascinating takes that kind of they don't sculpt my point of view, but they help me get a picture of who the people are. You know, who a Brad Pitt is, who an Angelina Jolie is. You know, that kind of pickup. But when you look at these, I mean, you see this narrative that they want. Man who assaulted his girlfriend named her Amber Heard in his phone. Amber Heard, let's see. People are making money. Here's what I thought when I saw that. Maybe they should have been watching their own money, right? Maybe a little less of ours. But I mean, when you go through, did social media sway the Depp jury? The right thinks that Johnny Depp killed the Me Too movement and they're excited about it. I always love, you know what? Anything that is too big like that, anything that is damaging like it is socially, it deserves to fail. It outlived its usefulness. It deserved to fail. I mean, let's just be honest. You know, it was no longer it was no longer relevant. Bessie Knox, thanks for telling. I wonder if WB will be crying the same tune soon. Here's a question. This is random, but I want to ask you this. Do you think The Flash will make its money back? The movie The Flash. If you haven't been keeping up with that, that's Ezra Miller, you know, his baby. You got them shilling it hardcore. And the numbers, they keep saying it needs to make $600 million back. But you got to remember, you know, a lot of places will be like, well, to make your money back, you've got to make production times 2. And that's not true because they don't advertisement's not in there. So the reality is it's probably upward to 7 to 8. And that's saying that they don't do anymore. So if you got to make $800 million back, do you think The Flash can actually make it? I mean, you've got Michael Keaton. He's added to the movie, so you're going to get that. But do you think with all the stuff with Ezra Miller, do you think that that will actually even impact the normie crowd out there? I'm curious, you know, what you think there. Yeah, thanks for the 2. My super chat said, story time, tugging by the fire. Indeed, thank you. Oh, that's funny. Hey, thank you, too. I'm sorry I missed your stuff there, for real. Appreciate you for sure. I hate missing those. I hate missing anybody, but especially yours. I remember you very well there. So thank you. But these narratives, like when you look at it again, the one that really stuck out to me, and this tells you how they want to socially narrate this stuff. We've all failed Amber Heard. And, you know, there's a point to all this. I'm showing you what Vice represented. We should look at this article a bit in a minute. But anyway, so Vice decides they're too big to fail. Again, they're evaluated at over $5 billion. Again, 5.7. Well, guess what happens? They start having not just problems, but we're talking monstrous problems, big time issues, to the point that they start losing money. I mean, they're bleeding money. And they think that they can get a buyer. I mean, after all, they're evaluated all this money, right? But the problem with that is nobody wants to pick them up. Then George Soros decides he's going to step in. You know, George Soros becomes this boogeyman figure. I mean, he's, oh God, you talk about bad people. I mean, these society sculptors, they can be very bad people, right? But the George Soros, his investment group, his fund management group, they decide that they want to bid on Vice. And Vice, it looks like they've gotten one bid, and that bid is for $400 million, or about $400 billion is what it says. So we're talking about a company that decided to go full bore into stuff like that. And guess what happened to them? They ended up having to sell for less than 10%. Just again, I mean, we're talking about half a decade later, billions down the drain. That's amazing, isn't it? Now they overvalue tech resources. I don't want to make it sound like they would be they would be they would be something that everybody should say, oh yeah. But you know how valuations go. Sometimes they get crazy with that. But still, even with it, look at that. Now, what's funny about it, and I've been having a good laugh out of this, is that Adam Waldman has been dancing on their grave. And he should. I mean, they came after him hard. They lied about him. He quoted, you can see the quote here. He put in, old media is ossified. New media is casual, opinionated, improvisational, largely unedited, full of whoppers, and often plagiarized. And he puts together this fun little dilly of a slideshow. Look at this here. Vice, again, it doesn't have the last one we saw, but you can see, Vice headed to bankruptcy. Oopsie daisy. Puts in a little piece here about what it means to be countersuing. It points out Adam Waldman, he underlines, called it a hoax, rightly. You see how he underlines stuff there. Then he puts in their examples of things like, we've all failed Amber Heard, and Amber Heard's vicious online trolls are coming for Angelina Jolie now. Again, making the point that I'm telling you, they thought they could sculpt the societal narrative. They wanted to tell you that you were wrong because they know better. They're the arbiters of truth. And you know what? The back end of society, the people, those little peons that they want to look down on, you and me. Yeah. We buttered up the back end and we gave them a good old slap to the I like to go pimp slap without the powder personally, but hey, that's just me. I'm not sure about you. What's up, Fallen Hero, by the way? Thank you for the gifted membership. Cindy, what's up for the 6 months? Almost missed your live. Didn't get notified. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people complaining about notifications not going out. I'm trying to get them all at this time going forward, at least 3 a week. Okay, at least, just so we can every other day, but I'd like to have one every day for the week. So that's my end goal. Starkey Pants thinks that's funny. Thanks for the 5 there. I like that sticker. 2012, thanks for the 2. As for Flash, China does not like people like Ezra. That'll be interesting to see. I am curious about that. Tammy, thanks for the 5. I think that Flash might be somewhat successful. Ezra Miller seems to be resourceful and seeking mental health. See, my gut says it's the other way. It's like Ezra came up. I saw the media. They spun it. The spin to them are Ezra Miller's his controversies is the word they like to use. Remember, this would be a career killer for anyone else. He was accused of not only grooming children, but taking said children to I'm talking about 12-year-olds here. 12-year-olds. There were a couple of 12-year-olds out there, but he was accused of bringing a 12-year-old on the set of Fantastic Beasts as part of him being with that said 12-year-old. The parents filed a restraining order and all kinds of stuff after the fact. And apparently he's had a couple of those by parents with him getting a little touchy-feely with kids. I mean, and again, everyone gets their due process. Although I would say that Ezra Miller, like choking said fan, the fan that he got caught choking on video, the video actually ended up getting a lot more attention than I think anyone thought it would at first. And then afterwards, the person in the video, they spoke about it. Now, I didn't get a lot of headlines, but they ended up speaking about what happened. And they said essentially what they did is they went up to Ezra Miller. He had scars on the bottom of his feet, and he was saying it was something like they were old war scars from fights. So he asked that person if they wanted to fight him outside, and they thought it was playtime. They thought they were going to goof off, and he ends up choking this woman. And you saw it. I'm sure all of you saw the video. That stuff would be career killers for anyone else. So mental health wise, I don't care about the drugs. Let's just be honest. It's Hollywood. Who cares? I don't really care about fights to a point. I do find it really messed up though. Again, choking a fan, that would be anyone would be out for that. Busting a woman's head open with a chair, that's pretty jacked up too. breaking into people's home, being like, "Yo, his words, I'm gonna bury you and your slut wife." Yeah. So I wonder though, my question on all of that is, will any of that impact? And you may be right. You may be right. People may look at it as mental health. They've been pushing it hard. They've been pushing it as, well, he's remorseful. There's some things like grooming kids isn't something you get to be remorseful about. Oopsie, oh man, well, I accidentally did something totally horrifically illegal. Yeah, no, no. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I mean, like I said, you may be right. Bessie, thanks for the 2. Speak with our wallets. That's all they'll understand. That's indeed correct. And it works. It works. You speak. And if you feel like you want to watch something, yeah, you can buy it from that certain pirate ship online. If you catch my hint, wink, wink. But I mean, really, the way movies work these days, like, you don't really need another superhero movie. I'm just, come on. Yeah. DC has reset their movies so many times. By the time like you catch 5 or 6 movies, they'll probably reset again, because if they fail, they're just going to try. They're going to try and try again. And DC's weird like that. They have a few successes in their mainstays, but they've messed up. I mean, how do you not make Superman a winner? Batman, of course, Batman should be a winner, although they've messed up with some of the combined Batman stuff. But yeah, anyway. So here's that Vice, though. I don't want to read all of this, but what's crazy here, look at how they put together articles. We all felt heard. All right. So they would go through the verdict skews heavily towards Depp being the quote unquote real victim. You see how they play this game? They talk about the memes. They talk about how the world sees it. They talk about the judgment coming in. And listen, today, that judgment is in our group chats, at the bar, and may even come up in dinner. And it's a reality that in some ways had already been declared her the loser, even if she wins in court. Yeah, that didn't happen, did it, though? Did it indeed? Then they go on this weird thing talking about how the Daily Wire spent thousands of dollars on pro-Depp advertising. And it's like, what now? What? Because they want to make this a right-wing thing. And I don't know if any of you, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to mocking politicians and everyone else. And I'll tell you, maybe they used a trial that a lot of other places used to advertise, to make sure that they got out there. I mean, all of these networks did it, but they damn sure weren't there front and center. In fact, most of these places, they were listening to people like Eve Barlow for the longest time, because Depp said something about Old Orange Man and they didn't like it. So, all of that stuff about not listening and believing flies right out the window when you don't like the person. And it took a long time to rehab that. Some people that I know said that, and there's nothing against them. You have your own opinion on something, but yeah, I didn't get that feeling. I got that feeling as the trial went, and the entire world leaned in, except for these morons. And look what happened at the end of the day. They fall apart. They fail. I mean, you look at this stuff, like, well, I don't think we've only failed AH, they note. I think we failed all women who experienced gendered violence. They play this game. I mean, it's so crazy the way they play this. And of course, they give me a second here. When you look at this article too, look at this. Like, I didn't want to show everything in it. I put it up here because I didn't want to show it all. But look at this thing. I mean, it's nuts. Like, this is how this is what they considered informative on a trial. And people they're sick of this kind of shit. Legacy media is failing. All of these giant names like Vices, they're failing. It's because they're dinosaurs. Nobody cares about them because they lie. And not only do they lie frequently. Now, Waldman didn't stop with them though, because well, he's had the field day with again dancing on the graves of these places that have come after him, come after JD, and come after many other people. They were opportunists coming after a lot of folks. You had BuzzFeed News. Now, if you haven't heard about old BuzzFeed News, by the way, BuzzFeed News, yeah, let me show you the Waldman thing. Then we'll go back to their examples of what they consider news. BuzzFeed is much worse than a Vice. If you think what Vice does is bad, BuzzFeed is like that on steroids. BuzzFeed is nasty. That whole idea of it's like Taylor, it's like if Taylor Lorenz and Kat Timbarge came together and they decided to run their own program, that's what it would look like. It's nasty shit. I'm surprised like half of their people are they're like if Kat Timbarge is Dollar Store, Taylor Lorenz, then all these little puppets that run around for BuzzFeed News, they're like little Kat Timbarge drones. It's freaking messed up. So anyway, Adam Waldman puts a in memoriam for BuzzFeed, quote unquote news. And I agree with that. You have to be very careful calling them news, but that's the name. See, if you look at the headlines, you can see Laura putting it right here too. They're gone. They are gone. Like they didn't lose billions. They lost all their money because you know what? Here's a little secret. I want you to notice it right there in his first post. This is what matters. BuzzFeed, I want you to just read all of this with me. BuzzFeed shuts down its news division. BuzzFeed, which won a Pulitzer Prize. How? I have no idea. I got to look that up one day. But the next part, but never made money. This is another place that really like to look in the pockets of other people. You know why? Because they're jealous. They're like, oh my God, those people, they're making money. Of course they're mad about money. They're not making any. I'd be mad about it too. What's up, Rock and Ruin, my friend? Thanks for the 9 months. Just saying hi, sending love. Cheers. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Man, Rock and Ruin, good people there. But I mean, look at that. Never makes money. That's why they keep doing hit people. At the end of the day, that's why every one of these organizations tried to reach into the pocket of YouTubers and other folks. They tried to rip it away because at the end of the day, they are failures. People like Tinbarge is a failed YouTuber. Oh yeah, they managed to use the backs of victims as stepping stones to get out of the intern position. They say people like myself, oh my God, we've used trial there. Yeah, I was here a long time ago. I've been here for a long time. And these people, they just showed up. They were the quote unquote Amber come latelys, and yeah, they pop up in the middle of a trial and they have leveraged it to get paid, but they barely get paid. They never got to do the thing that they wanted, and they hate everyone for it. Because at the end of the day, they didn't make money. That's really what it boiled down to. They don't want justice. They don't want to outdo injustice. They're mad about this idea of money. You notice that? Like it's always what it becomes about to them. But this is a BuzzFeed News. Let me show you what a BuzzFeed News looks like. Because BuzzFeed is nasty. Like I said, dancing on the grave, baby. I hate fucking BuzzFeed, man. I hate them. I do. I hate BuzzFeed. I think they're one of the nastiest places online. They go between 5 inventive ways to make your salad raunchy. It's they come up with the nastiest headlines. You'd be like, what in the world? Why not target that? They go with, they're going to target the daughter of JD. They target a man and his family. They target people because they share DNA. That's what they all did, by the way. They targeted him. Like I said, they get up on their moral high horse and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe they mention Amber Heard had a kid, which was, the timing was weird and everything else. People, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Lily Rose Depp, oh yeah, let's put words in her mouth about how she supposedly hates her daddy and this and that. And it's like, yo, that's not correct. That's not right. And they targeted her. They targeted like Rolling Stone. They're going to come up in this little fun dilly right here too. Rolling Stone was probably the nastiest of them. They decided to target that new show that Lily Rose Depp weekend on. They targeted it, and they were made to look like fools because of it. I mean, they were, again, they get up on their high horse. Shows are. It's amazing to me. Like shows portray slices of life. They don't have to be clean. They don't have to be nice. They can be about anything. And I thought, see, the same at places that say that they value all of these outlooks on live, they'll try to shut them down when they don't like somebody that's attached. They've gone after her job. They've gone after her career. They talked about how the only reason that she could ever have anything, she made a statement about Hollywood nepotism. She was talking about that. And man, I mean, they led the charge on attacking her because, I mean, it was unreal. But of course, the scrutiny, it had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with her last name. Like, at the end of the day, if you really want to understand why she hasn't made a lot of comments, it's because of shit like this. Because her daddy was a victim, but her daddy was a dad, a man. And because at the end of the day, I mean, he's a flawed human being too. Drug user, all of that. That doesn't mean, see, here's something that I do not understand from these weirdos. Like, they talk about not the perfect victim, right? That's one of their favorite statements. They say, well, Amber Heard wasn't the perfect. Really? Now, if you get down to it, JD wasn't the perfect victim for them. Why? Because JD was a man. And as a man, him bringing up it all, yeah, that doesn't fit any of their narratives. When he started talking about what happened, and he provided proof. They, of course, they decided they would bury him. But when he decided he would provide proof, and the world was like, yo, yeah, I see that. Well, look at what they're doing. They're doing articles like this. They deserve to fail, by the way. Screw you. I'm glad you burned down. I hope, people are always like, oh my God, Tug, why would you say that? So many other people work there. Yeah, it's a scumbag institution. I'm glad it's gone. It deserved to fail. Oh my God, it's terrible. No, they deserve to fail. Here's their wonderful articles like this. This comeback is just another punch in the stomach. We spoke to an expert about Johnny Depp's return and the impact it could have on survivors. So he can't be a survivor. Why? Because of the genitalia that's there. His kids have to be targeted. Why? Because of the genitalia there. Not the perfect victim. Not the perfect survivor. When a survivor gets their life back on track, typically they tell you, oh man, they supported me too. They support all of this. No, they support this warped narrative that they created, saying that, again, a man can never be abused. A man is only the aggressor. Man can never be aggrieved. And it's monstrous because, again, anyone can be. I mean, we've seen plenty of cases where women are the victims. We've seen plenty of cases where men are the victims. I don't want to get on the high that crazy train where people, they see an Amber Heard and they want to denounce women. Amber Heard is not indicative of women, just as a Harvey Weinstein is not indicative of men. But a lot of nasty fucking people backed by the mainstream media, given positions and a voice and everything else, they get to say that kind of stuff. They get to say, well, no. They take up for the female abuser. It's not just saying this abuser is indicative of. They will make they will make a statement like that, which is beyond nasty. Something that, again, this is why these are why these institutions fail. And then they'll go further, though. They'll take what I've seen. I have a quote from one of these crazy AH simps that's I posted a while back where they were they were saying that the real victims out there, this was their words. They said were people like Amber Heard and Ghislaine Maxwell. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You talking about the woman that helped Jeffrey Epstein? Because that's unreal. People were liking that shit. I was like, are you on crack or something, man? Oh my God. I saw people talking about Elizabeth Holmes, her giant scam that hurt a lot of people, women included. There was she ran a giant fraud. They said that they could redefine medical testing. You have all of these places, like I think it was Walgreens, for example, that did hundreds of thousands of dollars in renovation. And all these places are using the testing, and it was a fraud. This one woman, for example, she spoke on as victim impact. She said that she didn't find out about her cancer, which was treatable, until 5 months too late. It became untreatable, according to her. But they were like, well, you know why she's on trial? Sexism. And I was like, no, she's on trial because she destroyed fucking people's lives and deserves to be. Well, she's a female equivalent of a lesser Bernie Madoff. But it's unreal. But they were writing articles like this mess, They would target his career. Again, a survivor that is making a career comeback. They decided, no, man, got to torpedo that man's career and torpedo anyone that backs him. And you look at that. They have targeted women survivors. They have been very upfront about doing that too. JD gets invited to a fashion show. What happens? Oh man, that female survivor, the one with the horrific pics. Yeah. They get targeted because anyone does. They target Hollywood. They're like, these are the people who have unliked posts, which when you look through it, it's so much bullshit. But you know what? Why would people unlike a post? Because they have lunatics that are trying to destroy their careers for it. They like a post where a guy's like, man, I cleared my name after all of this stuff. And they are bullied and browbeaten into unliking posts. Like, that's unreal. You're not talking about making statements. You're talking about liking a post online. That's where we've gotten to. When people back this idea too, I've seen, you can find people backing some crazy stuff if you find like patterns of likes and whatnot. But this isn't crazy shit. This is about, again, the majority of the world agreed that this man was a victim, and they spent everything they could to try to bury him for it. It's nuts. Nuts. What's up? Sage. Thanks for the 7 there. Her SPD ruled her everything about her and around her. She's high on the spectrum. Dr. Curry said it all. She'll act this way forever. Yeah, at the end of the day, she doesn't want to change. At the end of the day, she won't acknowledge it. It's her problem. She sees the rest of the world as a problem. And that is what it is. People who acknowledge that they have an issue, they actually want to change something, that can happen. Man, listen to some of those videos. It's just like, it was unreal. And it also showed you how a lot of it was so fake. Like she was, she would use hyperbole, talking about, or she'd be like, don't put your cigarettes out on me. And you'd be like, when did that happen? I remember one person having a cigarette burn on their face. Wasn't her. It's like, my God, dude. Makes me want to light a cigar. So crazy, man. Give me 1 second. Listen to that flame royal. Man, I cannot tell what all your name. Real, I have no idea. I mess up like a space name there. So I'm sorry. I would butcher your name. Thank you for the vibe. Super late and begging, but if they're not making money, they're propaganda centers. RE BuzzFeed. They are. I mean, that's actually a very astute point. If you're not making money, like I don't. Some people like they'll do single serving for not making money. Like an individual might do it, but when you're running a corporation and you're trying not to, again, you're not going to keep the doors open because you're not going to make money there. That says plenty about you. I wonder how much BuzzFeed news value in the past. I wonder how much it was evaluated for. I wonder how much BuzzFeed was worth in the past. BuzzFeed value. I'm curious what it's worth now. Man. Oh my God. You want to see something funny? Okay, here, check this out. You want to see how bad this stuff has hurt them? Let's look up BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed stock. What a disaster, man. Oh my God. You want funny. Okay, here we go. Now brace yourself for this. All right. Because you're gonna have a little inward chuckle. You'll like this one. So this is what backing all of this and doing all of this insanity has done. Check this out. Now you have to ignore certain lines for, let's see, max. Yeah. So you're around, look at their. Look at that. Oh no. Oh my God. What a mess. Down all time 94%. So they've taken a 94% slide from their highest place. That. Ow. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. But like you said in that other super chat there, yeah, they were indeed a propaganda center. They spread everything. Let's look at a few more of those. Seeing that again, let's look at a few more of those articles, and that's one of the reasons I like covering articles like that, because if you want to truly make an impact, you start talking about what these folks do. You start pointing them out, and at the same time, people won't click their fucking articles. They don't do it. At the end of the day, when you deprive them of traffic, when you go in and you mock them incessantly, like I'll point out where, like when I do a video, I'll point out where this article comes from, because I'm saving you time, first of all, from looking at a lot of garbage articles. If it's a good outlet, I do hope that you check it out for sure. Any good outlet that's out there, but these garbage propagandist outlets, no. You see this stuff too. Oh no. Doja Cat poke fun at AH's. My dog stepped on a bee, and people weren't cool with that. They have tried to target anybody like me. Oh, they still try me, but it's like, I don't care. Like, that's one of the reasons I monetize weirdos. Like, that's the fun stuff. So I don't care. But some people will back down because they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? All you've done is put blood in the water. You're going to let those sharks, they're going to swim around you. They're going to think you're weak. They're going to think you're something that they can feed on, and they will feed on you. That's what these people never understand. But I mean, you look at these. I mean, again, targeting whomever, targeting anyone. I hope Johnny Depp said, oh, total global humiliation. Again, I'm going to say this. You accuse me of the worst shit ever. I'm going to want you to fail. I'm going to want the world to come crashing down on you. You beat me behind the scenes and shit, and it finally comes forward, and then you try to destroy me. You try to destroy me with the stuff you did to me. Again, these folks, they talk about injuries and everything else. Well, they kind of omit there was only one party in that relationship that came out with injuries. I mean, in what world do you have a person come out of a relationship missing a part of their finger? It was sad, that testimony. Looking back, somebody asked me the other day what I thought was the most impactful testimony. And going back, I'll tell you, one of the things that I found really depressing are all the jokes about the severed finger. Because the jokes about the severed finger are a coping thing. It would be unreal. It'd be unreal to have someone cut off your freaking finger. Someone that you trusted. Someone that you thought, I mean, they're pretty much holding you hostage in a relationship. And then to hear the joking, it's like I said, it's sad, that kind of, because you got to get to the point where you can move past. And that is a way of coping. It's funny in the moment, some of the jokes, but the reality is heavy stuff there. What's up, Dreadnought? Thanks for the 5. Hey, Tug and Chad. Hope you're having a great day. Indeed. Always down from some insanity. Seeing her fail never gets old. Another awesome day. Pick you. Indeed. Actually, I've got a story that I need to put together. It's time sensitive. It's got about a week, so I've got to put it together. But it's going to be very big. There's a you'll see. I think it's one of the most important stories about all of this stuff, because I think there's going to be something dangerous happen. And maybe I can put it together tonight. I'm not sure if I have time. Nancy, thanks for the 5. Tug, is there anywhere online I can catch your day 21 stream of the trial? Seeing as Elaine sent you much love that day. Yeah, I'm going to reinstitute most of the trial stuff. I'm going to go through slowly over the next few weeks and just put them back up. I took a bunch of those down because they were getting mass flagged. And the crazies, when they're mass flagging, if somebody's like, hey, I'm going to try to take your channel down with this, yeah, you private that. But anyway, you get and I appreciate you. Yeah, that was a funny day. All of them. I like that decision day. I thought that was amazing. But when you go through, again, you see what they did. You see what they wanted to put together. Oh, man, he was terrible. He was a monster. Look at her, Oh, she lost everything. It's just like, oh, my God, are you kidding? Lance Bass has drawn attention to the serious problematic trend of TikTok users making light of AH's domestic abuse allegations. Lance Bass, I missed that. What's bad about that, though? See, in this day and age, you're supposed to show respect to people that will burn down other people's lives. You're supposed to somehow pretend that you don't see through the facade. And I'm not having that shit. I'm not going to be told that I can't mock something that is burning down. I mean, you want to go with mockery. All right. Just to really make this point here. Give me 1 second. Like they want to pretend. Like, again, it's this big game of pretend that so many people are playing. Give me 1 second. And I want to remind you of something. And this very much happened. We got to watch it happen real time. Okay. It was nuts, because you could see it was just crazy how this played out. You remember the mimicry? Remember things like, again, this is when it started getting real. When you have like JD, he wears a B tie. Then you have, wait a minute, B tie. And again, I mean, it kept happening. You could see it. It was unreal. That's a way of mocking your victim. and the world noticed it. It was abusive behavior. And again, all these outlets, they tried to destroy these folks for years. And Adam Waldman is having a fun time of it. So here's Adam Waldman. I found this to be interesting. It'll tie in to something else I want to note. How they've targeted Adam Waldman in many a way over the years. But the shutdown, you can see the targeting. But also, now this is fascinating. BuzzFeed, activist hit with copyright complaint over post on Malaysian financier. So a whole site could be pulled after an investigation at a jet-setting Malaysian businessman with ties. They treated the 1MDB case as if it was a conspiracy. They went after Adam Waldman. It was another thing that they went after him and tried to destroy him with when he was talking about how jacked up it was, because there were discussions about that as early as 2015. They started helping go after people to shut that down. And again, it looks like they were a propagandist outlet. I mean, you could talk about the social propaganda, but this is political propaganda right here. That's what that is. They were helping shut down sites that were because it was an inconvenient truth. Remember like people like Leonardo DiCaprio, they didn't end up in a courtroom talking about or end up with the FBI until around 2018. But you had investigations where people were like, it's the same thing that happened with people like Bernie Madoff. It wasn't just the FCC that was shilling. You also had some big places that tried to expose that Ponzi scheme, but other places, they defended Bernie Madoff and they would help shut people down. Why? Well, you have outlets like Goldman Sachs that were tied into this stuff. You have billions and billions of dollars. And yeah, I think these places did make money behind the scenes. And also you get the political connection here where they ended up, quote unquote, dividing the journalistic world. Here's the thing. This always annoys me. You can hate this shit out of a politician with an orange man, like say the orange man. You can find a million reasons to go after him. You don't have to make up anything. And some of these places would make up shit. You don't have to make up anything. I mean, most politicians are so inherently corrupt. You don't have to make up crazy stuff about it. Good God. But they're propagandist outlets. They have a specific thing that they do, and they've shilled for horrible people. I've never understood that. Why do you need to make up stuff? Every politician, you could easily bury them. But here, okay, so attached to that 1MDB, you also have Waldman go after another outlet, Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone, by the way, is an outlet that has hated him for years. They have done their best to try to destroy him and JD. And what's fascinating is it looks like if you put this stuff together, maybe, just maybe, part of that wasn't just JD. It was also because propagandist outlet that didn't like the fact that said lawyer was talking about 1MDB. One of the biggest cases that the media doesn't want anyone talking about. It's crazy. What's up, Janique? Thanks for the 5. Love the comment in the musical Rent. Mark Cohen said, when he got the job with BuzzFeed, I feel like a sellout. Sellout indeed. Yes, I can understand that for sure. Well, I mean, check this out. So he went after BuzzFeed. I mean, so you have Vice that fails. They failed to the tune of, again, $5.7 billion. It looks like if the buyout goes through, if nobody pulls the plug on it or anything, less than 10%, $400 million. That's how they've gone to in the real world. You have BuzzFeed News, they get shut down. BuzzFeed is feeling the pinch too. And then Rolling Stone. And Rolling Stone, some people would say, well, their time's coming. I think their time's already come. They were bought out by the Penske Media. They're owned Like you have Adam Waldman saying, and this is very much true, what is dystopian media? And am I motivated to learn about the 1MDB case? Ask Saudi Arabian owned Rolling Stone reporter. Oh, ooh, you don't like this either. Oh, Saudi Arabia claims $700 million. A PM, that's Malaysian PM checking account, a quote unquote gift. Rolling Stone mocked me 5 years ago. RE1MDB case we stumbled upon. Dystopia. And you can see that. You know, what is dystopian media? This isn't Rolling Stone's question. This is my question. Have you read my coverage? Do you have feedback about my reporting? Are you motivated by learning about the case or just trolling? RTs, retweets. So you see, you know, they go after him. Waldman kept floating alternative theories involving Malaysian banks, a Hollywood super agent, and I mean, he's telling people. Like before they ever, all these jackasses claim, this is what kills me about these assholes. This is what always kills me. They claim that they break cases and stuff. They don't do that, man. They just jump on the coattails of other people's work, what other people say that have access. They say that about YouTubers. They're like, oh, they regurgitate what we do. Oh, bullshit, man. At the end of the day, YouTubers are getting to the point where they have much better sources, you know, because a lot of these folks, they won't talk to they'll talk to the ads department. You know, they'll talk to promo or something, but they won't talk to the pleb on the ground, right? They won't talk to the guy working behind the scenes that's irritated and will actually tell you what goes on with movies and more. Well, I mean, look at that. Rolling Stone hit back amidst calls to boycott magazine. The mystery behind a $700 million donation from the Saudi royal family to Malaysian PM. Now, they didn't like this either. The guy who he called, he's calling out Rolling Stone. He's straight up. He straight up stuck his finger in Rolling Stone's eye. I love this. I love it. I hate legacy media. I'm not saying people don't get stuff wrong. Everybody can get stuff wrong, but they don't get it wrong. They traffic in disinformation. So here's like, oh, the media's angry. So you can see where he points this out. You notice this was the quote unquote reporter putting it together. He's like, I get it. You're a joke, but thanks for the free press. Get exposed like a fool. Oh. I'm still waiting on one of them to have the stones to really, in this day and age, to go, you know, Waldman is a counterpuncher. I always consider myself a counterpuncher, and Waldman's a counterpuncher. He likes to, if somebody comes after him, he will hit them in hard, you know, and as a counterpuncher, he will hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them. And I like that. I think that's a strategy to live by. I don't typically throw the first punch, but I definitely throw the last one. You know, I mean, I like that. I like that strategy. And here, I mean, you're just mocking them outright. And what a bunch of fools. I just love the fact that so Waldman, he's dancing on the grave of companies that have lost billions. But more than that, if they ever had integrity, he's dancing on the fact that people are understanding that they lost that too. I think that's the biggest kicker of all of this, you know? It's not just the money. Again, you know, they can claim that they didn't do it for the money. Okay, that's fine. Well, why did you do it for? Because at the end of the day, you definitely didn't do it for the integrity of it. Like that. I love that too, like I said. There was something else I wanted to cover. So I've been calling out the idea that one of the things that the AH weirdos have been doing lately is they have been spreading around. You want to talk about something funny here? Let me show you this too. Hey, what's up, 2012? Thanks for the two. Tug, need to check out Dax to Be a Man song. I'll check it out for sure. I'm sending Wolfman a sexy toast emoji. Indeed. Waldman's, his stuff is pretty funny. Like he's the kind of, you can tell if you go back to watch those, they did documentaries talking about him being like this master puppeteer of social media, all this other crazy stuff. And it was fascinating because at the end of the day, they show how scared they are of him. I mean, they're terrified of the man. They had to paint him out like a freaking Bond villain or something, you know? It was amazing. I always love that in media, you know, the reality, like I said, for me, you know, I work a regular job. I freaking, I have a family and stuff, but they make you out to be like some kind of weird Bond villain. It's funny too. Okay. So I've been calling out bots lately. I've been making fun of the idea that the herds, they've been using a lot of bots. So this was their answer, and I love this. Look, they were like, "Oh my God, look at all of these. These are the same there, right? You know what these are? These are shares from from YouTube. When you hit the share button, it carries over what's there. They're like, whoopsie. I'll show you another thing too. Let's see where to go. Where to go? Ooh, I like that, by the way. Check that out. That looks good. If you ever do any kind of art like that, make sure to show yeah. They've been trying to say, well, Tugs, all these people that follow him, he didn't build up that. They must be bots. Man, I've been doing this a long time. Like somebody pointed out, look, here's me on a panel. Check me out. Way back when. That's me in the mask. Check me out. Aren't I sexy there? Look at my really bad head. Look at that mask strap over my head. I would still wear this, even though my face has been doxxed. I would still wear it. It's pretty awesome. I like how they labeled everybody. They labeled, here's Ty Beard. Ty Beard, by the way, Ty Beard, when I had CPS issues, you know, when weirdos tried to do that, Ty Beard is the guy that represent and called CPS up and was like, yo, it ain't going to go this way or that way. We're going to make sure it goes the right way. So props to Ty Beard, man. He's had my back when I've needed it. Props to Ricardo too. You know, if I needed something, I could hit up Ricardo, but you know, and both of them, I knew Ty Beard through him, and yeah, he had my back on that. But I love the like rich Texas lawyer. Like you got weeb, comics gay, gamer, nerd lawyer, but rich Texas lawyer. I love it. It's funny. But yeah, it's funny. They're like, oh man, you folks, you just suddenly popped on the scene. You suddenly got all this false. It's like, yeah, that's false engagement, baby. More like they built it up for this trial though. And one day the laughing at this trial will end. It'll probably end, just to be honest. There may be the odd weirdness where, you know, I always say I think this is where it'll end, but I think the laughing will it'll truly end. You'll see positive articles on career comeback, you know, stuff like that more and more, I think. But Aquaman 2, when it flops in December, I think that will be I wonder, like I keep wondering how long AH will play the I've just disappeared before, you know, shifting. I imagine this is how I foresee it. I foresee coming back not to Hollywood, because Hollywood, well, you may get some little organization to pick you up or something because they can't afford advertisement. And hey, you know, this person being in a movie, maybe they think that'll help them out. But I think they will try to come back as a quote unquote advocate. I think you will have places that will pick them up as that too, because that's the kind of jacked up world we live in. And they will come out and target lots of people. That's the way I think. I don't know how long that'll be on the timeline, But I think that's what'll happen. When you have no career prospects, sooner or later. See, in Hollywood, now you don't. I'm not saying this is a fair system, but this is how this works. Okay, in Hollywood, for female actresses that especially bank on looks, you have a certain place. Like JD said, hitting the wall. They tried to make that. It was funny. They kept trying to make this about that statement, hitting the wall, about violence. But we all know what they're talking about is you hit a point at some level where you reach a certain age in Hollywood, you no longer bank on looks. You either have to start actually being able to act, people enjoy you, or you go away. And there have been some great actresses, especially in horror. Like I've seen some great actresses, but they were considered unbankable after a while because they no longer considered them having quote unquote the looks. Some of them were beloved actresses too. I mean, really, they were liked, but that's the way Hollywood as a system, an institution runs. Which, like I said, you can say, well, that's messed up. Well, really, it's sad that they don't bank on acting ability in the first place. They're like, ooh, look at this. This will make the role, unless the role is specifically like before all of the stuff popped off. I knew her from the movie The Stepfather. That's how I didn't realize like she was a zombie. I didn't even know who that was. Zombie in Zombieland. It's funny. I watched that a million. I've seen that movie a million times through the years. I had no idea. Yeah. Because it didn't matter. She was supposed to be like, whatever. I forget the apartment number, but she was supposed to be the sexy neighbor. So, again, I don't think, and that's without the controversy and stuff. That's without all of that. Sooner or later, again, it'll switch up. I bet you. Fallen Hero, thanks for the 3. Bye-bye. See you later. Yeah, I'm out of here in a minute, too. Yeah, thanks for the 2. AH is in the mail today. With her daughter? Really? I haven't even looked. Let me check. Let me see. I haven't looked at I've got 2 more headlines. I've got 2 more stories already banked. But so I haven't even looked for today. Yep. TMZ too. AH hangs with daughter in Madrid after quote unquote quitting Hollywood. That's hilarious. This is damage control. You want to see puppet media in the works. So after they talk about quitting Hollywood and it gets blowback, what do? They try to go with something that they consider again, if you make comments on it, they're like, "Oh my God, you brought up a baby." And it's like, nah. This is fucking PR fluff. Because it's supposed to show doesn't really care. Oh, it's going back to being a mom. It's supposed to make them impervious. And again, I don't give a shit. Everybody out there, people will bring up, oh man, well, they have parents. Everybody has parents. A lot of people have kids. That doesn't make them good people. In fact, right the opposite sometimes. Sometimes it applies even more scrutiny. But that's what that is for sure. I get so tired of the weird PR. You notice too, like places like Jezebel, who are they are nasty. I got a hit piece from them long ago. But you notice they like to use the UK. They like to pretend that the US trial didn't exist. I love it. What's up, Nancy? Thanks for the 2. I'm dying to see JD and Junie Dench new movie. Yeah, I think I'm actually curious. I want to hear more about what went on with the director of JD's film, the Louis film, the one that's coming up in Cannes. Because if you watch my video on that, she was accused of quote unquote assaulting a quote unquote journalist. I hate to call these people journalists. after these folks, they targeted her ex-husband, her family. They targeted him relentlessly for with essentially accusations that got dropped out at court. So they ended up being false allegations. They did the same thing. It made a lot of sense why she would be good with working with the JD despite all the blowback and stuff, because she'd been there. But I'm curious. I tell you what pisses me off, and again, I'm not advocating for people to react volatilely. At the same time, I don't know how people don't sometimes. You know, if you're falsely accused and you watch people tear your life apart, like, people turn that violence inwardly. And, you know, the media pretty much celebrates that because they get to carve that in your tombstone. They're like, yeah, you know, but if somebody loses it in a moment, it's just like one of the moments that they use against JD all the time is him going after paparazzi, you know, because his wife's pregnant. They're acting like the paparazzi does, and he reacted to it. Man, I'm like, you know, that should be a hero, but no, not when you need a narrative to put together. But they deal in narratives, man. And the Daily Mail, you know, it's funny. I was surprised the Daily Mail actually put together that that article about quote unquote quitting Hollywood. I think they thought it would be a good way to buffer age, but it made it look really bad because again, it followed up the idea that she'd been blacklisted. It proved everything. And they were like, whoops, let's do some puppies photographs with her and the kiddo. I love it. I love it. It's so good. All right. Anyway, I'm going to call it here. This has been a shorter live stream, but I think it's a fun live stream. It built on what we talked about with video today. If you didn't check out today's video, you should, by the way. But yeah, I think this one's actually been a good length. You know, what was it? An hour and 17? That's not bad, actually. That's pretty short. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can do more live streams. Like, I'd like to do one every day of the week, but every other day at least. And like I said, I appreciate you all showing up. We hit it over 800 today. Since I didn't do live streams for the longest time, like, YouTube will be very weird about notifications and everything. So if you would, check around 6 PCT. That's an hour and a half ago, pretty much. Check around that time if you're around and just see if we're live. And check for a video, if you would, on the daily at 12 or 12:15 PCT. And make sure, if you would, play it, let it roll all the way through. Play it a million times if you like. Are you really, you know, getting back in that algorithm? It's a mess. But I do like I said, I very much appreciate you folks. Seriously, you know, any joking aside or anything else, I very much appreciate you folks. But anyway, I'm gonna call it here. I thank you folks, and I'm going to end. See ya.